Look around these streets. What's missing? Well, Japan's streets are spotless, but there is not a single trash can in sight. So how does one of the cleanest countries in the world stay so clean without anywhere to throw away trash? To understand that mystery, we first need to ask a simple question. Why are there so few trash cans in the first place? Well, it wasn't always like this. Before the 1990s, public trash cans were everywhere in the train stations, on the street. You could easily find them. But everything changed in 1995 after a shocking incident in Tokyo. A religious cult carried out a poison gas attack in the subway, taking many lives and terrifying the entire nation. As a safety measure, trash cans in the train station and public areas were removed, since they could be used to hide dangerous items. When I first learned about this, I thought, that makes sense. But then I wondered, that was over 30 years ago. Japan hasn't had any similar incidents since then. So why haven't the trash cans come back? Well, tourists often say they should just install more trash cans to make it easier for everyone. But it's not that simple in Japan. Another problem appears whenever public trash cans are installed in Japan. People start throwing in their household garbage. Once that happens, bins fill up quickly. Then people who just want to toss a coffee cup or a small wrapper can't use them. And trash begins to overflow, making the streets dirty. You might wonder, why would they do that? Why not just throw it out at home? That's because Japan's garbage rules are incredibly strict. In many areas in Japan, trash must be separated into vulnerable, but non-vulnerable of course, like cans, plastics, and bottles with caps and rubbers removed. And each type has its own collection day. Putting out garbage at the wrong time can even result in a fine sometimes. In cities like Tokyo, where apartments are tiny and the street space is limited, people often don't want to keep smelly trash inside. So some end up dumping their household waste into public bins. And when that happens, all the sorting and disposal costs fall on the facility or cities. They have to check what's inside, store it again, and pay extra for, proper disposal. It's a huge burden. That's why in Japan, you will often see signs saying no household trash, or please only dispose of items purchased here. It shows just how serious this problem has become. So, as you can see, there are other reasons why Japan has so few trash cans. But then another question arises. If there are so few trash cans, why aren't the streets full of trash? And this is the main question of the video. One major reason is that the streets are cleaned very slowly. In Japan, you will see municipal cleaning staff out early in the morning, sweeping the roads. While in shopping streets, the shop owners sweep the sidewalk in front of their stores every morning. And even residents often sweep the street in front of their houses each day. In some places, like local volunteers or community groups regularly pick up litter as well. In other words, the cleanliness of the Japanese street isn't just natural. It's maintained by the action and awareness of many people. This behavior reflects a deep part of Japanese culture. There is a saying in Japan, when you clean both your surroundings and your mind. It's not just about removing dirt or trash. It's about purifying the space and centering yourself. Living in this kind of culture where Japanese people don't think, let's try not to litter. Instead, it feels natural to think keeping things clean is simply what it means to be a decent person. Another reason has to do with the cleanness of Japanese restrooms. While those who have used a Japanese restroom may have been surprised by how relatively clean they are. This is largely due to the idea of leaving the space cleaner than it was before. But you will often see this phrase at, campground or festivals and other public places in Japan. The most famous example of this is Japanese football fans, picking up trash and cleaning up after a game. Well, this is a sign of their, consideration for others. This way of thinking is deeply connected to how Japanese people view public spaces. But for example, whether it's a park or public restroom or train station bench, they don't think it's not mine, so I can treat it like however I want. They think it belongs to everyone, so I should take care of it. And I'd be happy if the next person could use it comfortably as well. Following the rules isn't done out of a sense of obligation, but rather out of kindness and a natural desire to avoid causing trouble to others. That is why Japanese cities are so clean despite the lack of trash cans. But this way of thinking might be normal in Japan, but why is it so deeply ingrained in this society? To explain that, let me share a personal story from my childhood. But in Japanese elementary schools, cleaning time is part of the daily curriculum. Usually after lunch and before the next class, students spend about 15 minutes cleaning, roughly. In my school, the cleaning areas rotate monthly, and the students from teams with different grades to clean classrooms, hallways, and even bathrooms, of course. We also clean the teachers' rooms and, principal's office. Generally, there are no adult cleaners in Japanese elementary and junior high schools, I believe. Of course, apart from teachers. All school cleaning is basically done by the students. This wasn't just a chore, it was a way to teach responsibility for the spaces we use and to help us realize that keeping things clean feels good. And the interesting part of that is it wasn't just cleaning inside the school. Looking back, we also had regular classes where we went out to clean the neighborhood. The whole school would go out to pick up trash around the town. At the time, I didn't really understand why we were doing it. But now I see it was about teaching us that we should keep the places we live in clean out there. Of course, no kid naturally likes picking up trash. I certainly didn't at that age. But my teacher came up with an idea to make us want to do it. He said, "Why don't we collect cans and build a boat out of them?" We are about 6 years old, and the thought of building a boat we could actually ride was beyond exciting. What started as just trash picking became collecting materials and eventually turned into shipbuilding for us. We picked up cans along our streets and routes to school, washed and dried them and reused them as building materials. Looking back, it wasn't just about learning the importance of cleaning, but also about finding value in what's being thrown away. In the end, we collected so many cans throughout the year, and we actually built a boat, floated it in the pool, and got to ride it. It was an amazing experience for me. Of course, not every student in Japan gets to have an experience like this. I think I'm quite lucky enough. But I want to say is that in Japan, there is a system in place to teach children from a young age that cleaning and keeping things tidy are important. I believe that this kind of education definitely contributes to why there is so little litter in Japan and why the country remains so clean, even without trash cans on the street. In Japan, where this custom is practiced from childhood, the custom of residents joining together to clean up their own town continues into adulthood. In many hometowns, including my hometown too, there is an event called Operation Cleaning, where the entire neighborhood takes part in cleaning up the area where they live on specific days, several times a year. Such efforts are commonplace in rural Japan. But of course, in a big cities like Tokyo, such efforts are gradually being carried out by cleaning companies rather than local residents. But I still think that a city's cleanness is largely due to the effort of many residents in Japan. So even without trash cans on the street, Japan stays clean. Not because people are afraid of rules, but because they are banned from a young age to take care of the spaces they share. In big cities like Shibuya, where there are no trash cans but the streets remain clean, it feels a little strange. but also somehow comforting. Maybe it's because someone is quietly cleaning behind the scenes, or someone is keeping their trash in their pocket, or someone is simply thinking, I want to read this place nice for the next person. Knowing what lies behind this phenomenon, why the streets are clean even with so few trash cans, might just make you see Japan in a slightly different light. So what do you think about this Japanese approach to cleaning and caring for public spaces? Let me know in the comment box below. If you'd like to know more about Japanese culture, please check out this video. I will give you a deeper understanding of Japanese culture as well. Alright, so thanks so much for watching. See you soon in the next video. Bye.